Opinions and stories around the game we love, told by your favorite storytellers. Stay up to date with all things cricket. Subscribe to Cricbuzz's YouTube channel and press that bell icon now.
Two games. Firstly, in the afternoon from the Brabant Stadium, it's going to be the hard-hitting Bangalore side who will need to put their campaign back on track against the high-flying Titans from Gujarat. This is match number 43, and they are really playing like table toppers, and probably one of the teams we can say has almost virtually, Shaun, booked themselves a playoff spot.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised. I mean, if they don't get it together over the next, they got 6 games to go. I mean, I think it's too good a team. One thing I would say is RCB will be looking for the other change room next time they go to that ground. They don't want to have that same experience that they had where they were 3 down so quickly. So if at any chance, I'm sure they'll be looking to change and go to the other side of the dressing room. They do have, they call in all pockets, aren't they? I mean, that's 2 games. You know, when one blip happens, you write it off, but after 2, it sort of becomes a little bit of habit. So they've got a lot to do. And the Gujarat Tigers are going from strength to strength, feeling confident about what they're doing. And yeah, I mean, they almost have got themselves into other positions where you think, well, they shouldn't be able to bounce back or shouldn't be able to win the game, and they keep doing it. So that's a lovely space to be at. You know, you in those teams environments, you start to look around and think, well, who's going to be the guy? Because we're going to win this, but who's going to be the guy that's going to step up and do it? That's the way you start to feel.
Yeah, they're not a great second half team. We've seen historically Bangalore haven't been a great second half team. Can they change things around? Because they need to do it very, very quickly, starting against the table toppers. If we have a look, Pommie, at the lineup that we've seen for them, are they looking at a change in personnel? You can look out around the dressing room. You'll see every member of the squad there, pretty much almost everyone. What do they do to try and fix things? Because it's some of the stalwarts. You're not exactly going to be dropping a Virat Kohli, but it's a Virat Kohli who's still be looking for runs. What about a Rajat Patidar? Does he hang on to his spot?
Yeah, I think it's quite tough for them because, I mean, just looking at their previous game, and you know, you were talking about the one they get bowled out, and yes, your double figures, you get absolutely smashed, and away you go. But in their next game, they're chasing, and they can't chase down 144. So there's a problem. I mean, so you can't put a score on the board. You can't chase one down. And their bowlers all the while, they think they're going okay. You know, I mean, they're bowling nicely. So it's with bat in hand where the problem is. And in trying to fix it, basically what they're saying is, we'll hang and hang and hang because former national skipper is bound to come. He's a great at the game. He can play. We know he can. Surely he'll come around. Surely, you know, every time he doesn't get a score is closer to the time where he will, you know, turn the corner and away you go. In the previous game, when he edges and inside edges, and you know, you think, perhaps the luck's changed for the guy. Don't think so. So I don't know. We all watch and we wait with bated breath because what can you say? I mean, it's terrible for him. It's terrible for the side that is going through this trough. Yeah, but hey, if you're the opposition, you want it to continue every time you turn up and play against him. You hope that you can get him up because it has, despite him not having got runs for a while, it still has an impact on the RCB side when he doesn't get runs.
There were a few games early season, Shaun, when we sort of said, look, the one relief of Kohli not having scored too many is that somebody else is stepping up. Faf du Plessis on a couple of occasions, all their victories came and we said, okay, it's papering over Kohli's lack of form. But now, of late, especially the last 2 games, it's sort of come out in more glaring proportions.
Yeah, you do need everyone to contribute. You know, top 3, top 4, they dominate tournaments. So, you know, you're going to have games where Faf du Plessis gets nothing, and Maxwell maybe gets nothing, and someone else has to step up. And that's been the point in cases that there's been 2 games now where no one stepped up, and that's why they're finding themselves in the situation. So, once they've had their team meeting, what you could probably do as a management is ask the batters to stay behind and ask everyone else to go. Just have a quite cool drink with each other and just sit and chat and just give the team the impression that you've identified the problem and that you're working at it, but actually don't make it too serious. Keep it a little bit lighthearted. Just sit and chat for 20 minutes and say, come on, guys, let's just go relax, back yourselves. You've got some wonderful talents. Just go out there and produce. Because, I mean, if you think what Dinesh Karthik did a brilliant job for them at the bottom of the order in so many of those games, actually, in the first half. I mean, he probably 2, maybe even 3, he almost won on his own. And he just almost hasn't been able to get into that position again because the top of the order has been so poor. But you would get the feeling when you look at the personnel there that it does have to change. But for Virat, it can't be a nice place to be. It's definitely not something he's ever been through. Since he started as a youngster, he's just continually performed and performed and performed. So he is now wondering where his next run is coming from. And he'll be hoping that he can turn it around sooner rather than later, because it's not a case that a proud individual like him wants to be in, where he's probably thinking to himself, gee, I wonder if I should stay in the setup. When I say in the setup, in the team, in the starting lineup, or should I give it a break? He never thought he would have to face that kind of thought process.
Well, that's been the talk everywhere, but I think the conclusion is that the great man needs to step up. It's this afternoon game at the Brabant Stadium, but they'll be up against a team who are flying high. So it's not ideal circumstances. The one thing you'd probably have told yourself, listen, if we really desperately need a game to turn ourselves around, can we not find a team who are 9th or 10th maybe? No, that's not happening. They're playing the team at number 1, Pommie, and that's not going to help at all. Gujarat Titans, they've been doing really well. They've got a good bowling attack. So if someone at the top of the Bangalore order wants to get himself sorted, you've got some serious firepower coming up against you there, right up top.
Yeah, they've been flying for sure. What a side. When we say top bowling attack, what they are is exciting. For anyone who bowled seam up, you watch these guys go and they're sending them down that fast. It's brilliant to watch. I know batters might not like it per se, but from Mohammad Shami, Yash Dayal been really good. Lockie Ferguson, and he's leading in terms of the fastest deliveries. And then Alzari Joseph in the last game, he bowled really fast as well. So almost as if they're kind of egging each other on, and people are watching the speed gun, So yeah, it's brilliant. And with direction as well, decent control. Just after those 4, you think, oh, you've dealt with the fast bowlers, you can maybe go at a spinner, as happened actually in the previous games. Now, often you'll say that Rashid Khan will get whacked all around the park, and he was whacked all around the park. After the seamers, he came on and they absolutely tucked into him. So yeah, normally you'd say it means that he's going to be more potent. People are going to be taking liberties against him, and so they'll get out to him. He'll probably turn it up. It's not often, as I say, that he'll go for 40 or whatever. It went for 45 in the previous
45,
game. So he'll be sort of turning up and trying to prove the point once again that, hey, I'm still here. And after the fast bowlers, you got to deal with me, and it's not going to be so simple.
And if there was one area, Shaun, that maybe we asked a few questions about, it was the wicket-keeping slot. Matthew Wade early on in the season, again with Shubman Gill's knocks, they didn't really notice it. Then came Riddhiman Saha, didn't start off too well. In the last game, Saha got runs. Now that seems to be almost plugging that one little gap that they had, Shaun.
Yeah, and I think it's just to have a realistic expectation of what he's going to give to you. I thought his performance in the last game was brilliant, but don't expect someone to be striking at 180. Just let him go about his own business in his own way. And when he's got a combination, when Gill gets going, then they can balance each other out nicely. But there's nothing wrong with the way he's played. And we've seen it over the few seasons. He does deliver quite often when he gets an opportunity at the top of the order. But then it's like 1 or 2 games, it's not quite what they want, and they look to throw him out. I think they need to run with him now. They've seen what he's capable of. And I think he can still do a decent job for them there. So if he takes the confidence from the last game and carries on the same way. I think the opposition are going to start working out, though. Do not go anywhere near the leg side. Do not give him that opportunity to be able to whip it across. I think percentage of boundaries, maybe have a look at that tomorrow before he starts his game. It must be over 60 or 70% of his boundaries are leg side. So
I thought it
you
was
would think the
100.
plans would be better.